All right. So first of all, we're doing a little bit of the stuff behind the scenes here. Let me, got one more last minute thing to do before we kick this off. Make sure we're scaring it to the right place in Facebook, which usually works, but doesn't always. All right. Well, let's see. So first of all, welcome to this month's edition of OED Online. It's a monthly resource webinar that we, with the City of Santa Fe's Office of Economic Development, host to connect people with resources, to highlight key resources for entrepreneurs, and also get to know some of the different people and organizations that are involved in providing great resources to help businesses start and grow. Let's see, what else can I share at this moment? So my name is Eric Renz-Whitmore. I'm part of the team here at the Office of Economic Development. Should be joined fairly shortly by Casey, who's on our team as well. And sometimes we have some other people duck in as well. And I'm going to stop the share. So here we go. Love it. So that I can see our guest. So one of the organizations that, how can I put it? It's doing so many things, and we'll get into that a little bit. But one of the things that it's also doing a lot of things behind the scenes that not everyone's aware of. So they work with many of the different organizations that provide support of different kinds to entrepreneurs and existing businesses. But as the name implies, Small Business Administration really focuses on the small businesses we have in our community. And it's something that's really, really important here. Well, pretty much to every city, but I think in Santa Fe, we're not really expecting that, 1,000-person company that's doing all sorts of stuff. It's really a small business kind of environment. And it's something that makes Santa Fe helps give Santa Fe the character that it has. So we're really happy to have Michelle Duran here with us from make sure I get this right, from the Small Business Administration's New Mexico District Office. She is, in fact, I'll mention this, she is in fact a federal employee. So there's an additional reason why we're glad that things are moving forward and things didn't shut down the other day. So let's see, anything else that we should share off the top, or do we want to kick off with just get into your presentation?
I can introduce myself. So my name is Michelle Duran, and I am the Public Information Officer for the New Mexico District Office. I'm also the Administrative Officer, but as far as public goes, I do news releases, our social media, and I'm also the facilitator for our National Small Business Week project and awards that we do every year. I am born and raised in Santa Fe. I went to the University of New Mexico. I lived in Albuquerque for about 16 years. And I moved back to Santa Fe about 4 years ago, right before the pandemic, when it started. And I now commute to Albuquerque, but born and raised in Santa Fe. So that's why this is actually even better for me, because, and also just such a great way to help New Mexicans, because not only that, but they are my friends, my family, my neighbors, my community, and I understand and know who these people are, these small businesses, and even Santa Fe versus Albuquerque or other small towns are all different. So
yeah, they sure are. Yeah, and I think it's so important it's that personal connection. I think that makes a big difference for anyone who's working in this economic development arena, that it's not that necessarily you have to know all the people, but you have to have a feel for who they are and what they do. So it really does help if you've been living in and around and with folks who are in that mode. I think it's just invaluable. So we're really thankful to have you here today to share with us, and we'll we're going to concentrate mostly on the Small Business of the Year awards, and there's a lot of different facets to that. Probably have another couple questions, and what I'll say for, let's see, of course, I think folks have seen this is being recorded. It's being live streamed. If you do have questions, actually, this question for you, Michelle. If folks have questions, typically I can hold those to the end. We ask that those go into the chat. And then I'll bring them up a little bit later. Unless you want to address them as they come up. Do you have a preference on that?
I'll stop periodically as we go through
Great.
to ask the questions so that we can address them kind of at a timely manner. But again, we'll try to get through some of the content. And so we may, if there's too many questions, we'll hold them till the end.
Flexible.
And if was there a thing? Oh, and then if we don't get in any, I'll have my contact information in the chat, and you can always follow up later. And feel free as you go along, because sometimes you have this great question, and if you wait, you'll forget. So just throw it in the chat, and we will address it during or at the end.
That sounds great. Well, yeah, perfect. That's great.
You don't want anyone to forget, because sometimes you have the best ideas right in the middle.
Yeah, you got it. Well, you may have done a thing. You may have done some online activities, once and again. So
yeah,
you're very familiar with that.
Okay, well, let me start sharing my screen. Let's see,
let's see, and I stopped sharing mine. There we go. That's coming up now. Let's see, and I'm going to remove my or try to remove my spotlight or something. There we go. All right, well, take it away. I'm going to put myself on mute, but I'm here and I'm checking the chat and all that kind of stuff. So take it away, and of course I'll jump back in whenever necessary. Thanks.
Okay, so we'll start off real quick with what is the SBA if you're not familiar. It is a federal agency dedicated, and the only federal agency dedicated to helping small businesses in the United States and its territories. There are 68 district offices. New Mexico has one for our state. Texas is a larger state, and they have 4 district offices. And then we have regions, but basically our New Mexico district office would cover all of New Mexico. And there's 8 of us in the office. And then we do have our resource partners, which are funded by the SBA, are partly funded. They also are funded by some state money and other avenues of revenue, but they are our main touch points with our small businesses. So they walk small businesses through, or entrepreneurs through, hand holding them through the different processes. As a district office, we can help you. We do meet with clients, but if you need a business plan, you need marketing help, you need taxes, you're just starting your business, we would refer you to one of our resource partners. And at the end, we will go over our resource partners. But just to, if you guys are familiar, we have SCORE. We have our small business development centers, which are also, we call them SBDC. We have a VBOC, which is our veteran business VBOC Veteran Business Outreach Center. And we also have West, who is our Women's Business Outreach Center. So that's kind of a nutshell, and most of our resources are free. We have low interest loans, as well as many other different resources, and maybe we can come another time and really dive into what the different resources the SBA has. So let's go get started with our main topic today, and that is going to be our 2024 Small Business Administration National Small Business Week Awards. So National Small Business Week is, and let's go to the next slide. I'll get into what it is actually. Let's go over the agenda real quick. So what is National Small Business Week, right? What are the awards? What are the categories? And we'll go through, we're going to go through this training or presentation in a Q&A style. I like to present like this because these are the questions that you all have, and we are going to address each one versus kind of like a topic and then we discuss it, but we're going to actually answer these questions, which I feel is more beneficial. So like how to submit, we'll go through that process. And then at the end, how to submit an award-winning nomination, which is one of the kind of key items that we're going to talk about, so we can figure out how to get above some of the other nominations and win that award. Okay, so what is National Small Business Week? So for the SBA, it is our favorite week of the year because it is National Small Business Week, which is everything we do. So we throw a big party and have lots of events. But it started where the President of the United States issues a proclamation announcing National Small Business Week. And during this week, we all try to recognize the critical contributions of America's entrepreneurs and all the small business owners. 99% of businesses in the United States are small businesses. So that's amazing. That was amazing to me when I first started here. I'm like 99%. So yes, that's how many small businesses we have. It is our lifeline to our economy. That's why small businesses, and that's why our whole agency exists. So National Small Business Week is celebrated every year during the first week of May. So in 2024, it will be April 28th through May 4th. Let's see, let's go to the next one. Okay, so what are the awards? So as part of National Small Business Week, we solicit awards for, 90 days, so 3 months, in different categories for small businesses, for outstanding entrepreneurs, for those that support small businesses. So we have like champion awards. And the awards are given in the district, region, and national levels. So the region basically, at the district offices, then they'll go up, and sometimes certain awards will have a regional winner, but mostly it's going to be district. And for New Mexico, it's basically the state award, district or state. And then we have national awards, which are a big deal. I mean, they're all a big deal, but we want somebody from New Mexico to represent us at national. So that would be great. So the district office, we host an event during National Small Business Week, and we present the district or state winners. And then any of them that do qualify, or because we're gonna have district and national, I'll show you, but any of the national awards will go on to compete at the national level. SBA as a whole, our headquarters host a free National Small Business Week Summit. It's virtual, it's for 3 to 4 days during that week, and it's guest speakers. There was like J-Lo, there has been some of the sharks from Shark Tank, all kinds of entrepreneurs and big names in the industry that also own small businesses. They have small business training. You can network with other people, and it's a free resource for small businesses. So that National Small Business Week Summit is planned all year long, and there are tons of courses and chats and networking, all kinds of great stuff for small businesses. So even if you don't do this, maybe look out for that. It's free as well. So it is during National Small Business Week. And let me see if I can chat real quick. Okay, so there's just some information for you to get started and to kind of mark your calendars. So what are the awards? Which are the award categories? So there are 14 national awards and 9 district awards. So whatever business you are in, you can find something here to nominate for. And we'll talk about the nominations and who can nominate and the nominee criteria. But basically, if you see any of these, you can self-nominate. And there's only a couple that cannot be self-nominated. But like Women's Business Center, that one you don't own a business center, so that one wouldn't matter. And prime contractor or subcontractor. But all the rest you could, a small business person of the year, if you're an exporter, disaster recovery. We have women-owned small business, minority-owned small business, family-owned. All of these you can self-nominate. And if you don't win an award at the national level, then you would see if we qualify to win at the district level. So for example, if we have, say, 8 nominations for Small Business Person of the Year, we will judge them, and then out of the 8, we'll choose 1, and that person will be the New Mexico Small Business Person of the Year, and then they will go on to compete at the national level. So all of these, you can still be a New Mexico District Office winner, and then go on to nationals. These district awards are only for New Mexico. Okay, so what is the nomination process and the timeline? So the nomination period started on September 7th, and it goes through December 7th. The deadline is December 7th, which is a Thursday at 2 p.m. And there is no exceptions for late or incomplete. So if it's late or if it's incomplete, then it's invalid. If you can get your nomination in prior, I have myself and my coworker will go through the nominations. And if they're missing something, we can still contact you and say you're missing this. And if you get it to us by the 7th, by December 7th, then we can add it and your nomination will be complete. If it's after, we cannot request content that might be missing. So it's good to get it in early so that we can check that and help you if you need anything. So during November, December, as the nominations roll in and get submitted, we'll be reviewing the nomination packages. We'll verify the requirements are met and the packages are complete. During January, February, we'll be judging the nominations. And then March and April, so this is when we'll notify the winners, except for the Small Business Person of the Year. They'll be notified that they're finalists, but that one's our flagship award, national award, and that one will not be announced until the award ceremony in Washington, D.C. But everyone else will know that they did win. And then in April, because we're going to be having it the end of April and first part of May, we'll be letting the winners know that they're invited to the district or state level ceremony or the SBA national level. They'll be going to Washington, D.C. and then their flight is paid for, and I believe one person can fly as a guest, and they're paid for as well. And then during National Small Business Week, we will have all our award ceremonies throughout the districts, all the states, and the national ceremony. So I like to see the whole picture. It just helps with that timing and to know when you're going to hear back from us or not. If we find that your nomination is maybe doesn't meet the criteria, or isn't valid, or there's something, we will let you know as soon as we figure that out, so you know that you didn't pass on to the next level, and that you can submit next year and make any corrections or whatever is needed. So who can submit nominations? So small business owners or individuals may self-nominate. That's important because we get most of our nominations through self-nominations, which is great because then you get to fill out that form and put all the great information that you do as a small business owner. Any individual or organization dedicated to supporting the small business community, or a trade or a professional association and business organization. So some examples are like a chamber of commerce, a bank or a lender that you've worked with, one of our resource partners. We send out information and we ask them all to nominate small businesses that they have, that they worked with, that they feel are deserving of these awards. So that's the second most nominations we receive is from these organizations that work with small businesses every day, and they get to see those really great ones that shine. There's two that we just want to note. So federal agencies can nominate only one firm for the prime contractor of the year, and then a large federal prime contractor can nominate one firm for the subcontractor of the year. So these ones just are if you're part of this or looking for these specific awards. SBA employees cannot submit nominations. We also cannot help with nominations. I, as an employee, can tell you something's missing. I can point you in the right way, but I cannot help you with filling out your nomination. But questions we can answer.
Hey, Michelle, can I jump in with a quick question?
Sure.
So what does, in this case, for those of us who don't know, and my guess is that if you are a prime contractor, you know that you are. But
Correct.
for those of us who are not necessarily in that space, what does that actually mean?
Oh, that's a great question. So the government, the US government is the largest buyer of products and services in the world. The all our federal agencies have a minimum requirement. I believe it depends on the agency, but it's about 13 or 15%, I believe. And they need to purchase from small businesses. They need to contract. So like if the military bases might have a construction project, and so they will have small businesses bid for those contracts, and then that will meet their part of their goal for getting services and products from small businesses. So as an administrative officer for my office, when I buy supplies, office supplies, or like a phone case or anything, I look to buy from local small businesses in New Mexico. So that way, not only because that's something I really required, but because we're the small business, like everything, like I try to do it 100% if possible, to buy from small businesses, and all of our budget, all of the money we need to buy, and usually we can. So that is what, so that's why it's federal agencies. They work with small businesses, contractors, and or subcontractors, and work with them to purchase services or products.
Great.
And so
Thank you so much.
Yep. No, that's a great question. So every award is different. So the district awards all have the same criteria, but the national awards, because they're in different areas and categories, they have different guidelines on the nomination process. So these are the main ones you need to know about, but always, and I'm going to emphasize this, is go look at that specific award and review the guidelines for the specifics for that award. And then again, self-nominations are only for these ones, but you should not, it probably wouldn't apply to our audience here. Nominators can submit for multiple nominations. So if you are a woman veteran, you can submit for Women-Owned Business of the Year and Veteran-Owned Business of the Year, right? If you're a minority, you can submit for Minority Business of the Year, Family-Owned Business of the Year. So We encourage it actually. If you feel like you are one of, you can prove that. So like a veteran-owned small business would be really great to add that you work hard to hire veterans, right,
Mhm.
in your community. That would make you a great veteran small business company of the year. So sometimes, you work hard to provide for women, or you donate to women causes, things like that. So that would make you a great women-owned business of the year.
Right.
And if you nominate yourself, that's always a great way. So who can be nominated, right? Who are the nominees? So any legal resident of the United States or its territories. So you have to be prove that you are a resident. And one that always gets people, but it's early. So a small business who has received at least one type of SBA assistance. And this is not a full list, but most of it. So if you've received an SBA loan, so during the COVID pandemic, we had EIDL, economic injury disaster loans, the PPP, the payment protection program. The other ones are for theaters or for restaurants, or we have the 7A 504 microloan or a disaster loan. Those are our main other loans. So maybe you were able to get one of those, so then you would qualify. If you've taken part in an SBA program, so we have emerging leaders, we have a program called Thrive, our 80 business development, which is for government contracting, mentor protege. So, and if you don't know about these and you want to, you can go to SBA.gov and kind of look into these programs. Boots to Business is for veterans. And then after you pass that, you can go to Boots to Business Reboot, and it's for veteran small businesses. But if you don't have any of those, if you've been assisted by one of our partners. So as I was saying, we have SCORE, we have our Small Business Development Center, our Veteran, and our Women's Business Center. And if you have not, you can go to any of these resource partners and sign up to get some consulting, and then you would qualify as a nominee. So that's one good thing. You don't have to have, 4 years of connection with one of our resource partners. You can sign up today and just get an interview and see how they can help you. And I promise they can help you on something with your business. So some awards do not allow nominees to win if they've received the specific award within the last 3 years, which is a little bit obvious. We don't want people winning the award. We want new, fresh people. So if you have received the award in the last 3 years, don't qualify. And again, review the award guidelines for any specifics.
I'm throwing something in chat. Just one. I know I'm being more verbose than I planned, but
No, go ahead.
This is my plug, which is if you have received the award in the past 3 years, coach someone else.
Yes.
Give us an opportunity to benefit from your experience.
And if put in the chat if you've nominated, if you've been nominated or nominated yourself and are familiar with any of our awards. That would be great. And if not, I'm glad, because then it's new people that are seeing this. So we're going to quickly go. When you look online, there are, it could be daunting, right? There are a lot of awards, a lot of criteria, but I'm trying to get you to see that it is not a crazy daunting process. And so basically, these are the 5 things you'll need. You'll need the nomination form. And for national awards, you would go to sba.gov/NSBW and then go to that specific award and download the nomination form. For district awards, same thing, you can go to sba.gov/NSBW, go to the district awards, and you'll download this SBA form 3315. But you can find everything going to this main website. So they're different. So you're going to need one nomination form. Every nominee needs a award nominee background form. And this is just a form to get your legal name and your business name, you know, because everyone you can do business as or have a different name. And so we want to make sure that we look at the business and the person, and we do a real short vetting to make sure, you know, that you don't owe the government money, that maybe you haven't won the award in the past, a couple of little checks there, and then you're good to go. And that form is like 2, 3, 4 lines. Then we have an SBA authorization, grant and release of materials. And this is a form that you just sign, you read and you just sign it. It is a form so that way the information you provide in your nomination form, you'll provide a photo, and it is giving the SBA permission to use that information. Now you depending on the award, you'll sometimes need to enter your revenue, but that is just to make sure you meet the requirements. So that information won't be used. But if we, you know, maybe you tell us a story about how your family owned business has started, maybe we use your photo. So those are things that we will use in publicizing and promoting your business if you win the award. And so this is just a release allowing us to do that. And then you can nominate for a team if there's multiple owners. And so each person needs one of these forms, a photo. And so we do accept the 8x10 or 5x7, but hopefully you have a digital photo, and it needs to be at least 300 DPI is dots per inch. And I can go over that in a second about how to see how you verify that your picture is 300 DPI. No photocopies, and don't put your photo in the PDF. So you will put all your forms in a PDF, and then a photo is going to be a file that you do separately. Mm-hmm. So those are the four main forms you need to, or items you need to submit. But there's also, you can add additional documentation. So this might be news clips, a letter of recommendation from a chamber, from somebody you've worked with, one of your suppliers, you know, one of your workers, one of someone you've contracted with, anybody, your bank, your lender, and then evidence to show why you're worthy for the award. So if you donate, you know, or you do a lot of community service, you know, maybe you can show that in writing, or again, like a news clip or something. And so that supporting documentation can really help you when you're equal to another nomination, right? And so sometimes, do they have a letter of recommendation? Do they have other supporting documentation versus maybe one that doesn't? Then that person will put them over the edge to win that award. So that it's optional, but it is a good to start gathering those, and hopefully you have some for your business, right? Mm-hmm. If not, you should go get them and then start keeping a file for those. And no more than 10 pages, and no videos. Again, review. Some of the national awards have additional requirements depending on the award. So make sure you look at that, because it might be these 5 and then there's one more. But for the most part, it's these 5. So they're not too bad. And just make sure you have these 5 in a checklist and you're good.
Great.
Let's see. Any questions on so far? Anything in there?
Let me double check. Yeah, if there's so folks, if you have questions, go ahead and put those in the chat. Let's see. I mean, I sort of have a question. It's not specific to kind of some of these items, but I think one of the things that I find in talking with different, you know, small business owners, entrepreneurs, is some of them are maybe overly humble.
Yes.
and it's like they don't want to like toot their own horn too much, and they like promoting the business in some ways, but it's in a way it's not all about them. I'm curious, are there things that you tell them, because I think there's a lot of value in submitting yourself for award, even if you don't, even if you're not all about yourself all the time.
Yes, and you will be amazed. I mean, if there's anyone that's going to be a cheerleader for your business, it's you, the owner, right? You can say, oh, well, I did a lot of work for this person, or my lender really knows me well, or I worked with this resource partner, or my dad really likes my business, or whatever, and has helped me, and he's going to nominate you. But no one knows your business as well as you do, and no one's going to be that cheerleader that you need to be for your business. And
Mhm.
so this is a statewide federal government award. You can put this on, we'll have a big
Mhm.
plaque. You'll be recognized nationally. We do a lot of promotions. Nationally, they do tons of promotion if you're one of their winners. We do news releases and tell the news about your business and get that information out. So this can not only get you some more promotion in the state, the whole state of New Mexico, but at the national level, if that's what you qualify for, any of those national awards. And again, if you don't, you can also see who wins and kind of look at that business and what do they have, right? What do you need to work up to? And sometimes we get only a couple of nominations for one category, and maybe we get a lot for another. So you never know that you
Yeah.
have a good chance to
Yeah.
get nominated, to nominate yourself. And, it doesn't hurt to do it. And plus you cannot win if you're not in, right? You cannot win this award if you don't submit that form and try to win. And if you don't win, submit it the next year and submit it the next year, because you're going to grow as your company. And if you have all this documentation and this information and you look about what it's requiring, then maybe you need more community service. Maybe you need see if you can be in the news or some reason, and see if you can get that for the following year to add to your nomination. So it doesn't hurt.
Yeah. So it helps your business.
Yes.
I think it also, for folks who, maybe they're thinking that they can't go into business, if they see themselves in you, that's something that really encourages folks who are maybe on the sidelines. Maybe they're working whatever kind of, their day job, and they're looking for something else. Sometimes your story is going to be the thing that helps, get them over the line into starting their own business. And another thing that I find particularly helpful is I love the way that this emphasizes not exactly community service, but that kind of giving back and doing good in community. So the more examples we have of that, the better it is for everyone. So yeah, good stuff.
Right. Exactly. And no, and that's a big part of it, is that we want to see you succeed, but we want you to share your success and your all those stepping stones that people helped you with to help the community in some way. Everyone, you could just donate, your extra donuts. You can have there was one of our small business person of the year. She used to give everybody one day off per year, and all her employees, and they had to do community service.
Oh, wow.
And so that was great. Like something like you can do 4 hours and take the day off, but if you did something community service, we're paying you for the day. And they just had to find something they liked. And so that was great. I mean, just even one day a year, something like that to give all your employees is great. I mean, so she's having not only her business, but her employees share in that value that she has. So that's a great example. So
well, and go for it. I kind of like did a little bit of a detour, so I'll shut up again for a bit.
Okay, so basically, how do you submit a nomination, right? You got your forms, you got all that good stuff. Now what? So they all need to be uploaded electronically. we have a box.com folder. And so the link depends on the award. So all district office awards will go to the SBA New Mexico district office, box.com upload folder. If it's a government contracting one, it'll go to that folder. So it depends. And so basically going to sba.gov/NSBW and then find your award, and you'll find all the criteria, the nominations, all the forms you need, and then all the upload folder that you need to go to, where you need to upload it to. So no emails, you can't email me, you can't mail it in, you can't fax your submissions in, they won't be accepted. One thing that we like to just emphasize is every field must be filled out. And this is so that we know you didn't have information for it, or that that you reviewed it. So if you don't have like you don't have a website, something like that, you could put N8, but we want to know that you don't have a website versus leaving it blank. So every field must be filled out. And then we're only going to upload 2 folders. And this is in the directions. When you go to the upload folder, it'll have these directions as well. But you're going to put 1 PDF file, and that it will include all the nomination documents. So the form 3300, the authorization, and then any supporting documentation. And if you have any trouble, just email me. I can help you get that into a PDF file right? And then I would send that back to you, and then you upload it. And then your photo will go in a separate file, and that will be, so you're going to upload the 2 different files.
Gotcha.
One thing, nominations are due no later than December 7th at 2 p.m. The link will expire, so don't wait. Do it as soon as possible. Do it, make your deadline the 30th of November, because if you have technical issues or anything, there's no excuses, because there's three months. And so even if you get it all done and at 2:01 you submit it, it won't be accepted. So make sure you get those in. That's really important. And so that's basically it. Not too hard.
Well, and there's a lot of help out there.
Yes. Yes. And so if you, and we'll get to this in a second, but if you need assistance with filling out your nomination form, or gathering information, or uploading, or anything like that, you can contact one of our resource partners, and they can help you with any of that you need. Any of their business consultants can walk you through that process as well. Again, I can answer questions, I can give you the link, but I can't help you fill out anything, or and I can help you get the PDF, into one file. But more than that, you'll have to go to one of our resource partners, and that their information will be towards the end.
Gotcha.
So now that we know the process, right? It's getting those 5 documents uploaded to the correct file and on time and complete. So how do you submit an award-winning nomination that's going to be better than all the others? So you're going to choose the best category that you feel meets the criteria, or if you know another small business, right? What do they, what best fits them? And so I want you to concentrate on one award first. So if it's women-owned business, or it's a veteran-owned business, we're just going to use those as examples. Do those fit them the best for that individual and for that business? And also, or would they have a better chance of winning at the district or state level? I mean, are you a long time, you've been in business for 20 years, you've been in business for 5 years, and you're killing it, and you are just doing amazing work for the community, your employees, and you don't have to have employees. Most small businesses don't. But if you have, you're killing it with whatever you're doing, you can, there's the Small Business Person of the Year. That's the highest prestigious award. And if that's what you want to go for, then start now and start getting all that information that you need gathered. So what is going to give you that best chance?
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to submit the nomination package based on what is the best award. And then if time allows, then you submit a second nomination package. So concentrate on one, get one in, the one that best fits your company, and then work on the second one. And the second one should be easier because you have most of the information already, right? You just need to kind of, like a resume, right? Like change it a little bit to fit the different award category. So for a national award, so a nominator can only nominate one business or person for a national award. So you can't do Small Business Person of the Year and Exporter. You can only do one national award. But for district awards, you can do more than one. So like I said, you could do Women and Veteran. And then you could do the national award, which is Small Business Person of the Year, right? So you could do those, but just know that you can only do one national, but multiple district awards.
Mm-hmm.
So as you just research and populate your nomination form, make sure you meet all your eligibility requirements without question. So if you're not sure, there's certain eligibility, like if you are a woman, I think it's veteran women, minority, the company needs to be owned 51% or more by a minority, by a woman, by a veteran. Some companies are 50-50, and unfortunately they don't qualify. But if are you 51% owned by any of those, then you qualify. If you're 50-50, you don't. So make sure you look at that so that you don't fill out this whole form and get all this stuff, all this information, and then you don't qualify, right? So make sure you look at those eligibility requirements. And then review the selection criteria. So what are you going to be judged on? And focus on that information in your nomination form, because you're going to have some like free form fields, and it'll say, tell us about how you help your community. Tell us about how you, what's been a struggle in your business, right? There's a couple questions like that. So you want to think about what are they judging me on, and then focus on that in your narratives. And if you are a nominee, you're nominating someone else, not self-nominations,
mm-hmm.
You can contact the nominee with assistance with populating that form. So if like you are a business or a chamber or one of our resource partners, and this business is great, but you don't know their revenue, you don't know the year they started, etc., you can contact the nominee and say, hey, I'm nominating you, I need this information, and kind of work with them because they know their business best. And so there's nothing that says you can't work with the nominee, and both of you can get that nomination package, because you might not know, are you 50, you 51, right? They may not know that, but contacting the nominee, they'll be able to tell you exactly so that you don't waste your time. Submit a complete package. This is actually one of the main reasons we have ineligible nominations. It's just because it's not complete. If you're using a prior year's nomination form, make sure the form hasn't changed and it's updated with the current information. So we have people that will just give us last year's information, but it's going to ask you, what's your revenue between the last 3 years? And if you gave it to me, 3 years ago, and you don't have 2022, then you're not going to qualify because we need all that information. It won't be complete. So make sure that even if you have to download the current form and move all that information over, it's probably just copy paste And that way you have the latest form. Make sure every field must be filled out. And just enter NA if it doesn't apply to you, or you don't qualify for that, or you don't have an answer. And then they must be uploaded electronically, and by the deadline. So it's not like the most magical how to get a nomination, but it's making sure that you qualify, making sure it's complete, making sure it's on time, and making sure that you pick the best category that fits what you feel is your best attribute for your company. And getting that, I mean, you bypass a lot of other applications that just missed one of these pieces. So that's one big helping point, I hope, and just verify the guidelines for that specific award. So what is the evaluation criteria? So it depends on the award, because there are 24 awards, so they all can't have the same criteria. But for the most part, it needs to have the business's staying power. Staying power meaning that how we want to see you invest back in your company. We want you to invest in your employees so that you last, right, a long time, that you that you've done your homework, and that maybe you own some of your buildings, or you don't have all this debt, or whatever it is. You have staying power, and you have to show us that you're going to be around for a while, right? That you have growth in your employees, right? Maybe you started with 1 and now you have 5, right? That's huge. That's 1 to 5 is a lot, right? Maybe you started off with 100 and now you have 200. Like, that shows us that you have staying power and that you're growing. You have an increase in sales, right? We want to see that. And even if you don't have a crazy huge increase in sales, maybe at least it's not going down, right? Because there might be an explanation of why, the pandemic, you had, you couldn't get workers, there's always a reason that you can add to help explain some of these that you might not meet. So feel free to explain why maybe, you increased sales and then last year you didn't. Well, you were sick, or you had COVID or something, I'm not sure. And that you improved your financial position, right? You had your assets were this, and you bought a building, you bought more land, you opened up a new location, stuff like that, where it's going to increase your financial position, as far as that you're growing, right? That's what we want to see. Another one is that you contribute to your community. So again, if you don't have that now, you have time. Do you have, you could support your local volleyball team or something, or a cheer team, or anything like that in your community. You can still make contributions and show them on this form. So if you don't currently, add that, and then you'll qualify. Any innovations in your product or service, right? Like, you used to have a storefront, and then with COVID, you went and you did it online, and now you're killing it because that's actually a better market for you and your product. So you're being innovative, you changed, you adapted, right? Or vice versa. You changed your product so that way it would be more inclusive, or you narrowed down your services, right? You had 10 services and now you have 5, and that's better for you. And it shows that you're innovative, and that you're trying to adapt and make your business as profitable as possible. And then again, just review those guidelines, because everyone has their criteria is different. Let's see. So resources, I put these links in the up there. So SBA.gov. If you have, let me put this in the chat as well. If you have any questions, you can email me or my coworker. And she just kind of handles more of the district awards, but you can email me and I usually handle all of them, but we try to give her a little bit of the district awards.
Teamwork.
Yes, exactly, or whoever it is. Okay, so I'm wrapping up here. Let's just do this last one. So any questions? Remember that the SBA is here for you. We have social media. We share a lot of economic development information from all over the state, counties, the New Mexico economic development, our partners, all kinds of great stuff. So look for that. And then to contact us if you need to. Let me see if I can take a quick screenshot of this and throw it in the chat. It's just easier. And our resource partners, all of their information is there. Oh, I don't think I'll be able to do a screenshot. That's okay. I'll grab this information.
I've got a screenshot. So let's see. So we're wrapping up now.
Yes.
I've taken some screenshots. I suppose if I can get the copy of the slides, that's great. And what we do is when we post it, I feel like we're this close to getting our stuff up on YouTube to make it a little more accessible and to promote it there. So, and I will just say to folks who are here now or, watching this in the future, the SBA, if you get on their mailing list, it's just so much good content about different resources that are available. So, we will try to leverage our own channels in order to help promote and get this done. I'm also, I'll just say we not committing yet, but I think and hope that we can do like a clinic or some other opportunity. I know that there are things that Michelle can and cannot help with, but we've got a lot of great assets in the community that can help maybe give some feedback about how to prepare your nomination or somebody else's nomination in an effective way. So I'm really looking forward to getting some more nominations from Santa Fe and the rest of the state.
Yes. Yes. I mean, if you even have time and you have your favorite restaurant, your favorite little store, I mean, if I could do it, I would probably be nominating all these, all the places I visit. I'm like, they have great enchiladas or whatever,
Yeah.
But
Well,
I can't.
Well, and you may be providing a service in other ways, so appreciating that.
I'm like self-nominate. Here you go.
But yeah, so we'll share this out in a few different channels. I just be really thankful to you and the team at the district office. I think you do a great job for New Mexico, and looking forward to working more throughout the rest of this year and the year beyond. I had a couple other things, but we will have to wait until some other time to talk about veteran business. I want to check in on your asset program, but for now, thank you very, very much for joining us here today.
Yes, and if anyone has questions on our resource partners, on anything that I talked about or you're interested, I can answer you. I can forward you to one of my colleagues. I can get you in touch with one of our resource partners in your area. All kinds of great stuff. So if you have questions, feel free. My contact information is in the chat, and I was able to put our resource partner websites in there. And so go check them out, make an appointment. And good luck, and I hope to see all your names and those nominations come in.
We want to make your team's job really, really hard this year.
Yes, I hope so. Then we get. I mean, sometimes I'm like, oh my God, look how many we're getting. But that is great because all of the great businesses bubble up to the top, and then we have amazing award winners.
Yeah. Well, again, very appreciative. Let's see. Oh, I need to list this, and I'll include this in some show notes as well. Next month, I believe it's November 6th. I have to double check. It's the first Monday in the month, but we'll be joined by some of the folks from state economic development. There may be some other organizations involved who handle the LEDA and JTIP programs, a couple of different great incentive programs to help local businesses grow. So Casey Delber, my colleague here at the Office of Economic Development, City of Santa Fe, will be leading that conversation. But just really thankful for the role that we have and the partners we have in helping grow businesses here in New Mexico. Thanks again, and I'll say goodbye.
For joining.
Thank you.
Thanks, Eric.